Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Life. In this episode, I just want to document and share what I've been experimenting. So you might have seen my previous videos dealing with Comfy UI and how you can send like this text list into Comfy UI job and then just do it in batch to generate something like this. So in recent weeks or maybe just days ago, we got SDXL Turbo, which is like from Stable Diffusion, from Stability AI. It's kind of some kind of model that allows you to generate something very very fast. And let's say, okay, this is the robot, for example, like a shaman type of robot. This is the one that's been generated using SDXL, and this one is been through some kind of refinement. I think it's double the size, and then it adds more details. So this is what's actually happening. If I enable this SDXL Turbo, if I do it properly, let me turn on auto queue and maybe replace the prompt here, hyperreal, stick photo, miniature, and if I run this, so something's gonna happen. Okay, this is gonna generate and save the image. This is the preview image, and then the refinement will take over this, and then we'll generate refinement over here. Okay, so this is the kind of like lower resolutions, 512 by 512. This one is probably 1024 by 1024. We got a new robot. And if I make changes, for example, maybe this is see, yeah, this generate really fast because it's SDXL Turbo. It's generating our shaman robot, and this is the refinement. You can see it's very detailed, and it's just making another update of this robot because as I'm typing here, it's gonna auto queue and generate things very quickly. You can make a mecha samurai or ninja made of recycle material junks, intricate details. So yeah, the setup, this is I think I got this from Reddit somewhere, but the setup is pretty basic. We get this positive negative prompt, goes into this K sampler. We can randomize the seed here. As I'm changing the seed, it's gonna add it into the queue, and it's also gonna generate preview and save the image. This one is the refinement. You see everything happens kind of so fast and kind of like maybe if I make changes again. Yeah, it's make some kind of mechanical machine. So I can just keep doing this, but let me just turn this off. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't crash. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to show you something. Okay, this list was made using Google Bard. Okay, so let's say I'm kind of like making like a museum of random robots, right? So I just ask Google Bard, imaginative design ideas, blah blah blah, and then Google Bard came out with this list: spore, dispersal totem robot, blah blah blah. You know, all sort of imaginative design. I can make my own like mushroom, monkey, fish robot, totem. I like to add the totem because it's gonna make it more like sculptural. I can say yeah, let's just run this. It's gonna send it into Comfy UI and it's gonna generate something. So as you can see, there's a batch being generated, 24 batch, and it's gonna keep making stuff as I'm doing this. Let me try to explain. Okay, this is SDXL Turbo. The model is around 6 GB or more. This is the positive and negative prompt. I'm sending the job from Blender, right? And so it's gonna make changes into this positive prompt, and then it's gonna randomize the seed, and it's gonna generate things in the background. We cannot see the result here, but I will show you in a bit. So I like to run it inside Blender. I will show you the reason why. So currently it's just like a bunch of random robots, and it's sending this batch into this address. I show you in the previous video already. This is the prompt, and then it's gonna read the JSON from Comfy UI. So what I did, first of all, from here, I save as API format, save the JSON, and then bring in the JSON into Blender. So this open the JSON, and then based on that JSON data, I can then inspect and make modifications into the nodes of the JSON, and then sending the batch into Comfy UI. And I like to do it this way. Ideally, I'll show you how it should work ideally. There is this add-on called Palladium. Oh, actually I just crashed Blender. That's okay. The Comfy UI will still run because it's like a batch. But I want to show you an add-on called Palladium, which I couldn't run. Okay, this is a Palladium. Okay, Blender just crashed this. That's okay. Palladium is a generative AI for Blender VSE. Okay, it does a lot of things: text to video, text to speech, image to image, video to video, and all this ControlNet, Canny, etc. It does a lot of things. Actually, too much. But it's interesting. It runs on Windows with a CUDA with NVIDIA, but I'm really interested with this video sequence editor interface design. Okay, so you will see in a bit. So I have Palladium installed on Mac, but it doesn't actually run. See, Palladium generative AI installed. I tried installing dependency, so it has there's a lot of models that we need to set up. It also supports Stable Diffusion Turbo, but it doesn't actually run for now. But I like to show you if this add-on actually run properly. The setup is actually quite interesting. You see this is the interface. I could imagine actually doing, so we can provide like a LoRa model. If you train a model based on your artwork or like a model of a face, in order to make consistent model, you need to train your model first. And then here we have inputs, no inputs, or based on an input stripes based from an image. It will actually generate stripes for you as you generate your AI image. Okay, so let's say, imagine this is 512 by 512, and then how many frames you want for each image you want to bring into Blender. So suppose that it is working properly. I will show you from Comfy UI what we just generated in the background. Oops. Okay, let's bring some. Yeah, this was being generated just now. Okay, some images. Okay, there's a smaller one and the bigger one. This is the high resolution one. It's just a random robots based on our prompt. But I imagine this is being generated from here using Palladium. That's kind of something that I want this thing to work. And the Palladium actually does a little bit more. Like if you have like a script, some kind of scenario, you turn it into text prompt for the AI to generate the compositions. As for now, it's just, we created this using Comfy UI. If I check it here, so this is what's been generated. We get the monkey fish robot. We get this some kind of retro type of robot. It actually generates this type of layout. It's pretty basic. You can actually generate this using, you can model this in Blender or use something like plasticity. It's not difficult. It's just there's a lot of details, and of course it's realistic as well and made of different materials. But the design is pretty simple, despite it has a lot of details like cables. Maybe this part is a little bit complex, but you can recreate this rather easily. So there's two models, of course, the low-res SDXL Turbo, which was generated really fast and within just one sample, and then something that's more detailed version. You get this some kind of colorful artistic robot. They all have this kind of boxy design. So this is like a kind of like a generic standard SDXL Turbo. I think I could make changes to the prompt and make it slightly different. This was based on a plant. I really like this one. Slightly more abstract. It's not symmetrical because it's based on a plant like tree or something. It has some kind of organic looks with. They're all kind of like, if you go outdoor and find a junkyard recycled material, I actually really like this one a lot. So I just mark it. So this is like I imagine myself walking through gallery and look at all these creations, right? It could be created by some other artists, but yeah, it could be like any artist, just like X, call it the X artist. The AI generated this based on your prompt. This is the shaman guy, the low SDXL Turbo, and then the refinement versions with weird arms. You can use this as reference for your imagination, like imaginary comics, for example. This robot is also looking really nice. I think the low-res version looks really nice. I'm just gonna mark it as well. So this is more cartoony one. This is the one where I remove the background using, because in Apple you can just right click and then remove background like that. And we get this result, right? This robot. I actually kind of been doing some experimental with this Meshy AI as well. So I tried it. So from this image, I tried to ask the AI, Meshy AI, to generate something. We get something that's kind of balloony. It's not perfect. It's better you just model it in Plasticity or Blender, right? Let's make another one. This is all my testing so far. We get this robot. So junk robot X. Just tell it to generate. It's gonna create something within 1 minute. So the AI is still producing something, I believe. So the Comfy UI is running in the background. I think the job has finished. So back to my previous blend files. I'm just gonna I click twice. So again, it's gonna send all this list of prompt job. It's gonna make 48 design. You can see queue size 48, and it's running in the background. I like this workflow. I talked to developer of Palladium. I kind of wish the Palladium actually does this instead of trying to generate everything inside Blender. Of course, it's ideal if you have something in Blender already, like, but think about it like this. Okay, we have this generative AI in Blender. We also have a Dream Texture add-on in Blender. So it's probably they both can sort of work together, but I kind of like the Comfy UI running in the background as well, instead of everything needs to happen inside Blender. So the ideal way is like maybe like Dream Texture. We have some kind of 3D model here. So we have these AI, generative AI tools over here with a control net, being able to use the depth and the color from the 3D model. Maybe we pose a character and then make compositions in 3D view. That's what we like to do, right? Like a kind of like a setting up the scene. Here in a sequencer editor, we have like a story, and so from here and Dream Texture sending job to Comfy UI backend, and then we get a result and then bring it back into VSE. Because in VSE, the nice thing about VSE, of course, we can have like a storyboard, we can have like a stripes, like this stripe. If I just load it into Blender, we have our robot, right, being generated. So this could come like a stripes. Stripe can be separated. We can rearrange the stripes, just like a video editing. This is just a bunch of random robots, but we could add text as well, and then it's become like storyboard, like an animatic. Even if you want this to be animated at some point, this could represent like a shot in your movie. At the moment, it's just like a random gallery of robots. It's all very random and procedural, even though it's based on this list that's being generated using Bard. You know, this list could be something that's really come from you. You just write your own script and then break the script into some kind of screenplay, and then you imagine and visualize into storyboard, like sketch it, and then from that sketch you can bring it into it's become like storyboards, and then you can maybe use that sketch, and then you can use AI to generate something that's more like, or just you can keep the sketch, or and then create the composition using basic rough 3D models, and then generate something based on it. It could be anything, you know, but for now it's just like pretty random creations. But this is the whole workflow that I kind of thinking, what could this be? So at the moment it's just like random, and you can see the repetitions. So this is the robot that's based on the plant and maybe creature character like a reptile. You can see the cartoony stuff. I actually like this type of robot. Some of them looks pretty generic. This one, the monkey robot's really cool. I think we need to do more of the monkey robot. This monkey robot, and let's create monkey robots. Monkey. We can do it this way. Doesn't need to be fish. You know, like just why not? Yeah, can't think of anything. Yeah, it's really random. I know. Monkey robot. Let's just paste this here, and we can see this is the batch running in the batch. We can clear the queue and just run few of them. So what else I want to talk about? Okay, but you can try to install Palladium in your computer. Anyway, if you run this inside Blender, if you install all the models and dependency and run this correctly, Palladium will actually does everything for you pretty much. Create a stripe, or maybe if you have stripes with storyboard with the text prompt, it's gonna generate things for you, including the sound. It does a lot of things basically, but you take a look anyway. So oh yeah, it's got a style as well. I like the style that is provided. So provided you have Palladium running, you can use this stripe and then use it as an input for the generative AI, or without input, you just put the prompt here, the negative and positive prompt, just paste it there, and then you choose the style. Okay, the style, comic book, film, game style. This is actually we'll add into the prompt. This is the size of the image being generated. Output: video, image, audio, and text. This is something that the AI can generate. And then the batch, and then it's going to generate things for you, and then you see the result immediately, if not. So this is what we create. Okay, the monkey, you can say monkey, bird, elephant, the horse, robot, all sort of crazy stuff. Bird, cactus. Just gonna run batch. So so the whole workflow, the Comfy UI is running. Currently, Comfy UI is running through this app called Pinocchio AI browser. So the installation is pretty simple. So I install Comfy UI, SDXL, Turbo, everything using Pinocchio, and I just simply run it, and then it's running it in the background as a backend generator, right? So like I say to Palladium developer, I wish Palladium can just simply use Comfy UI and set that everything properly, instead of relying on the installations inside Palladium, because it doesn't work inside macOS. Anyway, it's running here in the background as like a server. As you working inside Blender, you can continue working in 3D instead of having Palladium running and generate everything. Palladium and then can bring in the image automatically as the AI finish generating. The dream texture also ideally work with Palladium. So Palladium can be like a to set up the VSE, and then this will send the job into dream texture. Dream texture can use the backend of Comfy UI. So these three tools I think really can become really powerful to do these sort of things. Let's see if I miss anything. Comfy UI running. We can do this BART for inspirations. Okay, this robot finish. We're gonna get something that's also balloony looking. It's trying to guess the back of this robot, which is not too bad, but everything tends to be looking really balloony. But I download it anyway, and then it's free credits for now. File import. So we can generate a bunch of random robots. Like I said, this could be just like a gallery of random robots. floor, file, import, glb. Don't know why we want to make like a gallery of random robots, but you can go to find gallery or museum outdoor and out there, you know, in the physical world. You will find works by other artists, and then they make this sort of things anyway, and you look at them and then you kind of look at them and then try to think, oh, what's the artist trying to say, right? In this case, it's all generative, which is kind of also kind of weird. It's similar thing, even though one is being generated by human artists, this one is being generated by AI, and it's not necessarily 3D at first. It's all just like 2D image, but it's all pretty random. But you know, what's not random anyway? You know, this might as well be created by human artists, or you can create this yourself. It's done. The question is whether this can be more valuable, or you can create a story based on this. In the past, I actually probably want to make something like this. Find like a recycle. Oh, look at this. This is like totally just like a house made of garbage. I actually saw something like this in real life. And people actually live in this kind of crazy house, you know, like made of junks. But this type of robots, what kind of story you can make from this? So it's kind of, so I don't have the story yet. Maybe this is like, just like a bunch of sculpture of robots. It's all pretty random. Some of them looking really kind of interesting. This could be like a video game character. We don't know, but they look pretty inspiring, right? You might be thinking, okay, that's who designed this really? This does it really matter if they actually become some kind of 3D assets that you can just play, and maybe it's like a fighting game or some kind of simulation game where you play the character, just make it walk around the environment, right? So I can go back to what I created last night. Some of them, like I say, looks really generic. It's all depending on your prompt. Some is more rounded and organic like this. I really like this. You know, some of them looks quite interesting, so I could keep that as inspiration. I could redraw it, but the recycle animal inspired could be like made of cardboard, like metals. Why are they looking like junk, like recycled material? Because in my prompt here in my batch, when I send it to the server of Comfy UI, I specify here made of garbage, waste, recycles, wabi sabi. You know, wabi sabi, like things that's imperfect. I can just specify imperfect, but I just add it into the prompt. I don't have the negative prompt here. In this case, just randomize the seed. Plug this prompt, just run it a few times, and it's gonna create more of this. So yeah, the nice thing about the Comfy UI running in the background, it's just letting you to be just as, you know, in Blender. Blender is still free for you. So this is Comfy UI running in the background. We get Blender over here. We can, for example, bring this into Blender. This is going to be a reference for us, and we can actually build stuff inside Blender. Just model it, model the monkey head, or just use plasticity. I prefer using plasticity, or just sculpt it, or just in case if you just want to do like some kind of therapy, right? You do this time to time, hopefully. Just draw it. I'm just using my mouse, but it's better to use Apple Pencil, stylus, or whatever tool you have on the iPad, you know, like using Procreate or Procreate Dreams. iWish Plasticity is on also available on the iPad, so I can just do like 3D model in, yeah, just doodle this based on that. So that's your reference, and you're making something that's more rough, but this is going to be your own creation, sort of inspired by that. As you're drawing more of this, maybe you don't need to look at the reference anymore, and you start to design something just from your memory, or just use other reference. You might as well do that. But I think it's a type of process. I think probably every artist has been through this type of process. Okay, Chris Pencil Doodle. You can send this to AI if you want to, or just start to model it in 3D. Like people say, well, it doesn't need to be 3D, right? It could be just 2D animation, yes, but in 3D, it's easier to animate with the bones and stuff. It's almost become like a stop motion animations. So yeah, basically that's pretty much it. It's more like if it's a, I like the robots because it's more like a character, human. There's like some kind of human personality with a character, and with a character and environment, you can then create a story. That's all there is to it. It's like an avatar. The garbage stuff could be interesting. It could be like a world about character made of garbage that comes alive. Yeah, maybe that's an idea, right? It's an idea that's coming from nothing, basically. But we could create a video game character like this. I'm pretty sure we don't necessarily create exactly like this, but the idea is there, because yeah, and then you can actually make this in real life, physically create this, or make like stop motion animation based on this character. So that's pretty much it, my explorations with Comfy UI, Surfer running in the background. Like I said, Palladium add-on has potential. It doesn't work on Mac OS, unfortunately, at this point. Maybe one day the developer, because developer doesn't have Mac OS, hopefully this work in Blender at some point. But if it's running in Blender, it's gonna do the hard job inside Blender. But I propose that Comfy UI become the back end to generate things, because it's really fast. And SDXL Turbo, I don't think it's commercial. If you use this, I think you need to pay Stability AI, but you can generate things for free anyway. And then if you decided, okay, I want to use this for full productions, then you probably need to talk to Stability AI. Yeah, that's pretty much what I want to talk about. Hopefully this is useful and inspiring for you. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.